First, let me thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join me. My name is Reyes. I'm with Latitudes Training, Coaching, and Consulting. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on the benefits of having an exit strategy. This is part one of a four-part series. So if you would, let's keep our questions focused on today's presentation. As we start, I want to share with you an excerpt from a book by Stephen Covey. The book is The 7 Habits of Successful Living. He says in his book, begin with the end in mind. Those who have created a successful business know success doesn't happen without planning, hard work, and a little luck. Yet most never put together an exit strategy or planning for the future. So whether you're a lifestyle business or you're a growth company or even a freelancer, sooner or later, you're going to ask yourself, what's my exit strategy? The dream has always been, right, to build a business of your own, bring it to life, and make it successful. I think that it's safe to say for all of us business owners, none of us have started out our business dreaming of failure. And how you plan your exit strategy will also determine your future financial success. Just as building a successful business takes planning, hard work, and a little luck, so does leaving it. When starting a business, it's advisable that you also plan your exit. And the sooner you plan your exit strategy, the better. Many experts believe it's important to plan your exit strategy when you start a business, and that you should even put that in your business plan. But don't worry if you haven't started your exit strategy yet. There's always time, and there are many issues to consider when planning and in the planning process. So before you start, you first need to think about why you started your business in the first place. Are you in business to acquire wealth? Is it because you want to make money? Or did you start it to give yourself a job? Or maybe you wanted something to do, you didn't need the money. Or maybe you wanted to build a business of significance that you could pass on to your children. Why you started your business and how you want to exit it should drive the way you operate and you grow your business today. And not considering your exit strategy early enough may indeed limit your options in the future. It's not a matter of whether you will sell or otherwise remove your interest from your business. It's just a matter of when and how. And there are 3 key factors that drive the timing of your exit. They are the seller factors, that's you. The market factors, our industry, financial markets, economic environment. And the buyer factors, what motivates buyers. Let's look at the seller first. Seller factors are the only factors that you have control of and you can make different decisions for. What's your cash situation like? Have you planned accordingly? Have you saved? Do you have strong cash flow, or is the lack of capital keeping you in your business longer than you wanted? And for those of you who have owned your company for several years, has your growth been flat? Are you comfortable with where you are today, or does your growth rate make you feel uncomfortable? What's your contingency plan? Do you have plan B? And do you really understand the trade-off of selling early versus selling late? Maybe you become bored in your current role. Has the 60-hour work week grind burned you out? Is your health a factor? Maybe you want to spend more time with your family and loved ones. So what's your legacy plan? How do you want to leave your business and to whom? Have you decided it's time to focus on other interests? Maybe there's a nonprofit in the future. Maybe you have traveling on your mind. Or maybe just the idea of sleeping past 6 brings a smile to your face. These are the factors you have influence on, but they are not the driving factors when it comes to selling your business. The seller does not control the timing of the transaction. The buyer and the market determine timing. But sellers can be prepared and take control of many factors that drive price and timing, as we previously mentioned. Achieving liquidity is most often the single most important financial event for a business owner. Ultimately, it comes down to how much do you profit by selling your company? But market timing is perhaps the most critical factor to securing maximum value in the sale of your business. While numerous personal factors may drive a seller to want to sell their business, the needs of the buyer and the current market conditions ultimately dictate when you sell and for how much. Selling a business when the owner is done and wants to just get out too often leads to lower valuations and less leverage. The way to achieve maximum value for business owners requires that the owners be mentally, emotionally, and financially prepared. Otherwise, what I call, they need to be deal ready. Deal-ready sellers should always be monitoring market conditions to get a good understanding of what their business is worth and then act decisively at the proper time. But market factors have by far the most impact on the value of a business. But unfortunately, market factors are completely outside of your control. Market factors are what drive buyers to act. And current key market factors are a favorable economic climate, low interest rates, advantageous tax laws, and some government regulatory changes that are going on. When you're evaluating the right time to sell your business, market timing is critical. The local, national, and global economic climates, interest rates, as well as the tax and regulatory environment all impact market timing. Right now, current interest rates are at the lowest levels they've been in 50 years. This equates to a favorable time for buyers. These low interest rates reduce rate requirements for buyers interested in your business. Buyers can pay more for your business because they have access to cheap money. The lower the rate, the more they can spend. And with lower long-term capital gains tax, this allows the sellers to retain more of the money that you get for selling your business. And right now, here in the U.S., sellers can benefit from a 15% long-term capital gains tax, which is great. However, these rates will be pushed up to 20% over the next 5 years, making right now the optimal time to consider selling your company. And interesting enough, while world economies are struggling to rebound from their bank bailouts, massive sovereign debt, and record level unemployment, the language services industry continues to have steady growth. And that growth has made corporate courtship very active. Just in 2003, we've had a lot of activity. And here are just a few of the M&A deals that you may know about. Omnia Group, based in Italy, which does about $11.3 million in revenue, recently bought Itero Text, which is a small LSP in Detroit that specializes in the automotive industry. Translate Media, out of London, recently acquired McElroy Translation in Austin, Texas. So what's the attraction? A strong industry has attracted broad investor attention. That type of growth has led to continuing interest in the investment and acquisition by both private equity groups as well as foreign LSPs anxious to grow their business in the United States. And this cross-border M&A trend is fueled by a desire to participate in the healthier U.S. economy, a desire to take advantage of the value of the euro against the dollar, and address the problem of the euro-dollar conversion, which has been a long time challenge for both clients and LSPs. In the acquisition world in our industry, European LSPs used to be interested in US LSPs with revenues between $5 and $7 million. However, the recent trend has been for European LSPs acquiring smaller US providers, more around the $1 to $2 million range. Many of them have targeted translation companies that focus on a single vertical and have a strong value in their specialization, making the market factor optimal for sellers who were before overlooked because of their size. But not all sellers who want to sell can sell. Only those sellers that have planned and prepared an exit strategy and can capitalize on this optimal market timing can actually sell at the valuations that they want. Now we also have to start thinking about the buyer and the buyer factors. These are the factors that potential buyers think about, study, and weigh in their timing of their acquisitions. I can speak from experience. Our M&A clients look for those buyers that have steady growth. When you have high and low revenue ups and downs, there's a warning sign. We also understand that our clients look for companies that have a strong client acquisition strategy. They understand that this acquisition strategy has led to growth. So if you're in a situation your growth is too slow or even flat, that plays a big part in the valuation of your company. Buyers also look at how well an organization deals with a competitive landscape. Are you winning or losing the deals that you compete for? What does your pipeline look like? And how do you get there? And also, once you win business, are you keeping customers? What is your attrition rate like? And then what we feel is probably the most important part of the whole process is, are your costs in line? Or has your bottom line been compressed due to overspending, high payrolls, or inefficient processes? Let's look at our buyers from their perspective. Strategic buyers purchase companies to increase their market share, expand their footprint, acquire new products or technology, or to gain competitive advantage. Buyers look at the cost value of acquiring a company versus the cost and time it would take to open a new location, hire new people, and grow their business organically. The better run the seller's business is, the better they are positioned competitively and the higher valuation their company will have. One of my strongest beliefs is that having a narrowly defined target market and a well-defined customer profile brings more value to a company when it's time to sell. But not only does it bring more value to a company when it's time to sell, it also brings more value to your prospective customers. If they know that you focus on a target market, then you become specialized and you understand their needs. So this translates to benefits on both sides, your current competitive advantage and then your advantage in your exit strategy. I once spoke with an LSP owner who was a prospective seller. And when I asked them what industries they focused on, they gave me a list of about 8 industries. We went through negotiations, an offer letter was tendered, and they were surprised at how little their valuation multiple was for. But as we saw in the recent M&A activity, companies have a higher interest in buying businesses that have specialized or narrowly defined customer profile. Not that there isn't value in companies that target numerous verticals, but the fact is there's less value in being a jack of all trades than there is to being a specialist. So as sellers begin to develop their exit strategy, they need to understand how value is derived from the buyer's perspective. Remember, buyers are using acquisitions to give them a competitive advantage. If you're not getting the competitive advantage, there's not a lot of value in your company. If you have a broad stroked market approach, there's less value than if you were specialized. Now here's probably the most unique part of what I call the entrepreneurial value creation process. And this is the process that includes building and growing your business. But this also is the process, but this is also part of the process where harvesting is a huge part of how you exit your company. Harvesting is the process entrepreneurs and as well as investors use to exit a business and liquidate their investment from a firm. While all three phases are important pieces of the process, many entrepreneurs fail to execute a successful harvest because they do not realize the benefit and they do not realize the benefits of all their years of work. Harvesting is, if we look at harvesting, think of harvesting as this. Harvesting is the means for capturing or unlocking value, reducing risk, and creating exit options. Harvesting is more than about the money. It also involves personal and non-financial considerations. As a consequence, even upon winning the deal, getting the check that you want to sell your company for, if you are not prepared for the lifestyle transition that accompanies the selling of your business, you may come away disappointed with the overall outcome. Thus, crafting a harvest strategy is an essential to your personal success, as well as it is to your financial success. Let's look at benchmarks that you can use to determine your exit from your language business. Most smart entrepreneurs will use certain benchmarks as a target, and once they reach that target, they exit the business. What we have found is that few LSP owners ever create exit benchmarks, and more times than not, they have no idea how to exit their business. Some of the common benchmarks are annual sales, gross profit, annual turnover, asset base, market saturation, and customers. Whatever you decide on what your benchmark is, sales, profit, number of customers you have, don't just put all your energy on building and growing your business. Plan for tomorrow. You have to have your exit strategy in place and a harvesting strategy in place. What do you do after you sell the business has to be an important part of how you get through the process. Not just how much I sell it for and what my company is worth, but what do I do next? Business owners that plan for their exit early on have higher valuations and are able to exit with less effort than those that do not. I tell people to run their business like it's for sale every day, so that anytime there's interest, they can be ready. Keeping the end goal in mind and planning for an eventual exit is a smart way to do it. And what most people really want out of their company is to achieve wealth, whatever their idea of wealth is. If you want to come out of this experience as a business owner with a big payday, you need to be thoughtful of what you're doing and how each decision you make ultimately increases or decreases the value of your business. Thank you again for your time. If you have any questions, comments, please email them to me to rreyes@latitudescoach.com. Don't forget, part 2 is next week. I look forward to seeing you then.